In this video, I'm gonna break down exactly how I plan to cut down and get lean for summer. And it's going to be using the exact same strategies that worked perfect for me last time, where I lost 10 pounds in 1 month. I'm a doctor who insists on being a fit dad, so I need to be efficient. And I wanna show you how you can include fitness in your life regardless of how busy your schedule is. Now, I might want to lose a little more than 10 pounds this time. I haven't 100% decided, so I'm planning to lose the weight a little bit more slowly this time, maybe 6 pounds per month, and over the course of 2 months, that will allow me to lose about 12 pounds or so if that's how far I wanna go. I'm currently at 162 pounds, and I would like to get first down to 155 and ultimately down to 150. Now, I haven't been that low on the scale since I've built up this muscle. And so I want to make sure that I'm doing it slowly and sustainably and make sure that whatever I get to, I'm comfortable with and feel good. Now, the first and most important factor in trying to lose weight doesn't actually start in the gym. It starts in the kitchen. And that's because in order to lose weight, you need to be in a calorie deficit. And it's really hard to do that with just exercise. And if you're not watching what you're eating, it's going to be extremely difficult and potentially impossible to lose weight. So that's why we're going to focus on what's in the fridge. The number one important factor, at least for me, is preparation and planning ahead. Now, you're going to see some fresh fruit in here, which is a great snack to have, and some healthy carbs. You're also going to see some prepped ground meat. Right now it's ground bison, but as we're getting into our cut, we are going to be using more lean meats like turkey and chicken. You're also going to see in this big container here, my self-proclaimed famous veggie prep. Now, I make a bunch of this on the weekends, so I have it for the entire week. You can use it in your breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It's an easy way to get a lot of volume, all your fiber needs, and very low calorie in any meal. It's so versatile, you can do pretty much anything with it. And so today, for example, I used 1 cup of egg whites poured on top of 1 cup of my veggie prep, as well as half a cup of ground bison. And that was about a 400 calorie meal with 50 grams of protein. And it was very filling. Before we go too much further into nutrition, I apologize, it got a little long. There is a lot of helpful information, at least in my opinion, in this nutrition section. So I definitely recommend paying attention to all of it. But if you want to skip ahead to the other sections, there are timestamps for you, so you can go ahead and check it out. But before you do, drop in the comments what the hardest part for you has been about losing weight and what you had to do to get past it, or why it's still a problem for you. We also always have eggs available, and when I'm on a cut, I will still eat whole eggs. I just might be more conscious of eating less. And then we also really enjoy these prepped chicken breasts from Costco, because as you can see, it's 150 calories per pack and 24 grams of protein. You can eat this cold as a snack all by itself, or you can throw it in with any meal that just needs some protein. It's also nice to have some carbs easily available, because one of the things that I tend to neglect or forget when I'm in a deficit especially is the carbs. So I can throw half a cup or a cup of rice into a pan in the morning with some ground meat and some whole eggs or egg whites and mix it all together, even with some veggies or whatever else we have left overs, and that makes it an excellent meal. And then to share another example of prepping ahead for while I'm at work, I want to be able to eat healthy foods. I don't want to have to go out and buy something or starve all day. So what I did was I took some leftover rice from tonight's meal, I threw on my veggie prep, and then I put some leftover salmon on top. And that's going to be a very filling and healthy meal, easy for me to grab and take for work the next day. But if I don't have something like that ready, like I said, I just grab a scoop of veggies, a scoop of ground meat, throw some egg whites or some eggs into a pan, cook it up and throw it in a container and take it to work with me. I also almost every day make a smoothie in the morning for me and my family. It consists of frozen fruit, some milk or water if we're really trying to cut down the calories, some protein powder, some Greek yogurt, and then, maybe an avocado if I want to have that in there, even though that adds a little extra calories. It is so easy. It ends up being about a 400 calorie smoothie, give or take, depending on the ingredients and if it's mostly water or milk, and about 40 to 50 grams of protein. Again, it's very filling, it's high in protein, and it's fairly low calorie. And those two meals, whatever I throw together in the morning with what I have prepared and that smoothie, that's what I eat for the my breakfast generally around 10 or 11 in the morning, as well as the smoothie typically around 2 or 3 in the afternoon. And then I'm home for dinner and we'll make a dinner kind of like what I showed you I had left over. And then in the evenings, I'll usually have a snack as well. And that evening snack deserves a video on its own, and it will get one, but it is protein ice cream, incredibly easy to make. This whole pint of ice cream is only about 250 calories, so you can indulge in a whole pint of ice cream if you so choose. My wife and I generally split it, so it's only 125 calories for each of us and 20 grams of protein, so 40 grams of protein for the whole thing. You leave it out to thaw for a bit, you throw it into the Ninja Creamy, which was probably one of the best investments, not only for just general enjoyment and satisfaction, but in watching calories and trying to lose weight. It's incredible. You could have a delicious cold sweet treat for almost no calories and high in protein. It makes it incredibly easy to meet your protein goals and keep the calories down. So if you haven't figured it out, the general basics of how I eat is focusing on the protein and focusing on the fiber, which essentially is synonymous with volume. The more vegetables and to some degree fruit that you can put into your diet plan, you're gonna have a lot more food that you can eat. It's gonna keep you full longer and it'll really help keep the calories down. And that way you'll have a little flexibility later on in the day if you want to splurge on a sweet treat, your favorite chocolate bar, an ice cream, whatever it might be. You can work that into your plan, but you wanna make sure you're getting adequate protein, about 1 gram per pound of lean body weight every day, and eating high fiber so it'll keep you full. It's also important to make sure you're not going too low or to no carbs, because then you're not gonna have energy to fuel your workout. You're probably gonna feel crummy and maybe have more hunger cravings. So you wanna make sure you're getting healthy carbs, not processed white bread, that kind of carbs in your diet, not too much sugar, refined sugar, because that's gonna have negative impacts as well. But getting healthy whole grains, beans, some good rice, quinoa, that kind of stuff is going to be excellent sources of carbs to keep into your diet. Some other big tips that I really lean into when I'm trying to lose weight is I drink hot drinks throughout the day. I start my day with coffee. We generally do half decaf coffee, so I can drink more coffee without as much caffeine. The caffeine is going to help suppress your appetite, but the hot drink, it's going to be volume in your stomach, and the heat, I don't know, I find it tends to settle my stomach and make me not feel as hungry. I'll drink some decaf green tea or black tea later in the afternoon. I'll also drink carbonated 0-calorie drinks because that really helps to make me feel full. And if you have just a bunch of veggies as a snack, drink a big glass of water or a carbonated drink. That's gonna be filling your stomach and keeping you satisfied for quite some time. You don't have to reach for the candy bars, the chips, and whatever else it might be that you're craving. Now I know it's getting long in the nutrition section already, but you'll see we don't have a ton of junk. This is actually not the best time for an example because we do have some of these popcorners, which aren't terrible in terms of calories, but we got those for my daughter. And then these were left over from a party, so we have some chips, but generally those aren't here. I do like having dark chocolate every once in a while. I don't have a full serving size. That ends up being quite a bit of calories, but I usually do about a quarter of the serving size. It's a nice treat to have. I don't do the dark chocolate because that's actually good for you as well. And then the nuts and stuff, I tend to eat more so when I am not trying to lose weight because those can add calories, but a few here and there can be a nice addition to have in your diet. And the rest of this stuff is for the kids. Now, in terms of the workouts, I am planning to try to hit each muscle group at least twice, if not 3 times per week. Twice is a great goal, but the big key here is that I'm not going to be pushing myself to heavier and heavier weights, because when you're in a calorie deficit, especially for a prolonged period of time, your muscles don't have as much glycogen stores and you don't have as much recovery potential when you're eating less calories. It also puts you at higher risk of injury. And you want to make sure you're not pushing yourself too hard so that you can't get back in the gym later that week. So while I hope I'm mostly going to be able to at least maintain my current strength, I'm going to be doing it with lighter weights than what I've currently worked up to. Or at least I won't be doing all my reps and all my sets at that max weight. I might play around with it depending on how I'm feeling. Now, I'm also not running a set program because I like to have the flexibility in terms of which days I train and how long on each of those days I train. I also like the flexibility of doing, depending on the week, a longer workout one night if I'm busy the rest of the week, or doing shorter workouts if I just don't have enough time in the day, and then doing 4 workouts through the week. So what I've done is I've picked my top few exercises for each muscle group and I've written them all down. And for each exercise, I'm going to take one of them and just kind of cycle through each of those exercises for the muscle group. Now, if I can do one exercise for each muscle group on every workout, that would be excellent and I could train every 2 to 3 days. But I know there's gonna be some days where either I just don't have the energy, I didn't get enough sleep the night before, or I'm just really busy. And so I might just do 2 muscle groups on that given workout and split it up so that I can do half of a full body workout on one day and then the next day finish that half of the full body workout. And I should very easily be able to get half a full body workout done in 20 to 30 minutes. And if I do that 4 days per week, that's very easily hitting all muscle groups twice per week. Now, while the workout itself isn't going to do much for burning calories, it's going to be very important for maintaining the muscle that you have. If you go into a prolonged and significant calorie deficit and you're not working out to stimulate muscle growth, to tell your body that the muscle is still needed, you're going to lose muscle weight, not just fat. Regardless of what you do, you are going to lose some muscle, but at least working out consistently 2 or 3 times per week is going to allow you to maintain as much as possible so that when you get down to the weight that you're looking for, you'll still look muscular or have the muscles that you already built. Now, if you're enjoying this video so far, please, it helps out a lot if you hit that like button and drop a comment to help boost the algorithm and show me some support. The next important factor is cardio. Now, while nutrition has the easiest, biggest impact on reducing your calories to put you in a calorie deficit, cardio is also important because if you can burn a little more calories each day, that means you can eat a little bit more to lose the same amount of weight. Now, ideally, if you can reduce your calorie intake, the foods that you're eating, by about 500 calories, that's not going to have a major or detrimental impact on your hunger or your metabolism as long as you're eating healthy. But if you can add a little extra cardio, do about 250 or 500 calories of cardio every day, then you're going to be able to put yourself into a 1,000 calorie deficit, which averages out to be about 2 pounds of weight loss per week. Now that is a lot of weight loss over the course of a month, being about 8 pounds or so. And if you can sustain that by having a balanced diet and cardio plan, it's going to be much easier for you to continue doing that. Now, 2 pounds per week for most people is going to be kind of the upper end or top of what I would recommend. And the less weight you have to lose, probably the closer to 1 pound per week you want to go. But that is an example to show how if you split your calorie deficit with cardio and with nutrition, it'll be a lot easier for you to stick to the plan because you're not going to feel like you're starving yourself. Now, you also don't have to commit to dedicated cardio on a bike or running if it's not something that you enjoy. You want to find something that works for you. And if you just don't like cardio, just getting out and doing steps, going for a hike, walking up a hill, parking further away from the grocery store, whatever it may be to get extra steps, if you can increase your step count by 3,000 or 4,000 steps per day, gradually over the course of a couple weeks or a month, that's going to help to increase your calorie burn throughout the day and make weight loss that much more sustainable for you. And lastly, rest and recovery. Not only is it important for health and fitness in general when you're trying to build muscle, but especially when you're in a calorie deficit and trying to lose weight. You're going to feel like you're pushing uphill the whole time because you're eating less calories than your body needs just to maintain. And you're pushing yourself hard in the gym, you're pushing yourself to do extra cardio, you're using that extra willpower to not eat foods. Your body's going to be screaming at you. You might not be sleeping as well. You want to make sure that you're doing this in a sustainable and healthy way. So if you're feeling too run down, you might need to reassess your strategies. But you need to make sure that you are putting effort and emphasis into getting adequate sleep, maybe a little more than normal, and doing things to rest and recover. Hot tub, sauna, relax in front of the TV, take the rest days when you need them. Because if you push yourself too hard, you're not only going to not make the progress that you want, but you're going to increase your cortisol state, and that's going to make it harder to lose weight, harder to maintain muscle, and you're just not going to have a good time and you're not going to be successful. So make sure you're getting your rest and make sure you're getting adequate sleep. And once again, if it's not working out for you, it's okay to reassess and adapt. As long as you're making some progress, if you stick to it, over time, you will eventually hit your goal. I hope this video was helpful. Check out the other video linked above or some other videos on my channel. If you enjoy my content, please hit that subscribe button and I hope to see you in the next video.